Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another podcast by Kyle DiVico. Today, we're going to be talking about the Republican primaries again. A lot of interesting stuff going on. It's starting to heat up. In case you didn't see it, Trump won 10 states on Super Tuesday. That's huge for Donald Trump. Super Tuesday is kind of the early tell-all of who the Republican nominee is going to be. And Trump taking 10 states on Super Tuesday was absolutely huge for him. I don't think many people saw him taking 10. They might have saw, 7 or 8, but 10 states was a big deal for Donald Trump. So with that said, comes the controversial question. What are Republicans going to do to keep Trump out of the office? Now, I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal that was very good, and it basically said they have two options. They can just try to, push Trump out of the office with money and super PACs. That's going to be very hard. That's not the most effective option. Or they can go and they could talk to Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and convince one of them to drop out. Preferably Marco Rubio, since he has a little less supporters, and Ted Cruz has a better chance of winning the Midwest states. Now, the reason why they would do this is because you consolidate the Rubio and Cruz votes, hopefully, and get them to Cruz. Now, if they were to do this, they would have to do it soon because, time is ticking. If Trump keeps winning these primaries, you got some of the Midwest states coming up. Then you move over to the West. If he keeps winning these primaries, he's a train that no one's stopping. And right now it looks like he's going to face Hillary. So for the Republicans that don't believe in Trump, you see a lot of, keep Trump out of the office, say no to Trump. If you want him out of the office, I think you need to start pushing for the Ted Cruz party to talk with Rubio and, consolidate. Because right now, the way the votes are getting split up, it's not going to be effective. Ted Cruz can never catch Donald Trump because Marco Rubio's stealing those votes. So, while you do that, you have to also keep in mind that is risky. Because what if the Rubio drops out and the Rubio voters go to Trump? That's a major issue. That's a major problem if the Rubio voters go to Trump. You do not want that happening. If the Rubio voters go to Trump, we have an issue. Now, that being said, this is just getting absolutely ridiculous. I was watching the debate last week. The personal comments are just ridiculous, with Trump mentioning the size of his hands, going after, Ted Cruz for, stuff he said in 2006. Even them going after Donald Trump for stuff he's saying in the 1990s. It's ridiculous. People want to hear the debate talk about the issues, the present issues. We don't need a yo mama joke fest in the debate. We want it to be a professional setting where we get our questions answered. If our questions aren't getting answered, the debate's not even effective. What's the point of having the debate? Our questions are there. We Facebooking our questions, we tweeting our questions. We want the news anchors to ask the questions that we want to hear, and they don't get answered because we got this jargoning garbage coming. When Rubio's poking things at Trump, Cruz is saying things about Trump, Trump's going back at him. It's like a sixth grade debate. Grow up. You guys, if you want to be president of the United States, you can't be arguing with foreign leaders like this. Now, I understand this has happened before. With John Kennedy and Richard Nixon. It's happened many times. There's been some brutal Republican and presidential races in general. So I understand that it's part of the game, but could we keep it to a minimum and start debating the facts? Start debating the issues? Because that's what the people want to hear. And, this week, very sad news with the passing of Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan, former president's wife. And, I think that should be a wake-up call to these Republican candidates. Ronald Reagan was one of the best presidents ever. He had a 75% approval rating. I think instead of poking jokes at one another, they should focus on Ronald Reagan and how they could be more like his presidency. Because you know what he did well? He appealed to both parties. Republicans were on him at first because, he's a fake Republican. But you know what? The president is not supposed to be biased. I understand you're affiliated with one party, but in the end, the president is supposed to bring the people together. That's what Ronald Reagan did, and that's what anyone running for president should have in the forefront of their mind. We want to bring the people together, get the people on the same page, make America united, because if we're united, we are stronger. We are stronger as one person, as two people, as a town, as a city, as a state, as a country. We need to be stronger together. And I think the passing of Ronald Reagan should make these Republican potential nominees take a step back and think, what would Ronald do? Let's honor the passing of Nancy Reagan. One of the best first ladies ever to step in the White House, helped Ronald Reagan every step of the way. Let's honor her passing by taking it down a notch. Let's not be so harsh. Instead, let's give the people what they want. The people want the facts debated, the issues debated. If people got the issues debated, I think you'd see a lot. I think this would calm down a little bit and focus more on the presidential, what this person's going to do when we get in the White House instead of how big someone's hands are. I think that's a little ridiculous. That's high school talk. I think all the candidates need to wisen up. And to be honest, I don't think it's over. I don't think by any means Trump has it won. But right now he's on a train that's rolling to victory. Now, that's not to say that Cruz can't catch him or Rubio can't catch him. But like I said, they need to do something about consolidating the votes because Trump's getting them all right now. And if it continues like this, if all three people are still running in the race come a month or two from now, I think that plays much more favorably into Donald Trump. And I think you're going to look at Donald Trump as our nominee. All right, thank you everyone for joining Kyle DiVico's podcast. We'll be at you next week with another hot news topic. I'm signing off.